It's time to refresh your yard during spring backyard days at the Home Depot. Get low prices guaranteed on propane grills starting at $179, like the Next Grill 3-burner gas grill. Or get $50 off a select Weber Spirit Grill and bring big flavor to your backyard. Then set the scene with Hampton-based string lights that bring it all together. Shop spring backyard days for 7 days at the Home Depot, now through May 6th. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
You can't reason with the sun. Trust us, we've tried. This summer, it's time to put that angry ball of fire on mute. Columbia's OmniShade technology is engineered to protect you from the sun's harsh rays that can burn and damage your skin. The sun is relentless, but so is our gear. Level up your summer at Columbia.com to spend more time outside and less time slathering on aloe lotion. You're welcome. Columbia, engineered for whatever.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hey, this is Doug Pinnick from King's X, and you're listening to the podcast with Jay Scott. It's called The Hook Rock. Check it out, and may the groove be with you.
Found love on the banks of the river. Blackwater said I'll be okay. An answer to my sin, and rock bottom never felt so safe. Came here and I hated my reflection, one wave and it washed away. I found love on the banks of the river, rock bottom couldn't take it away. Well, it's too bad you'd rather see me dead in the water. Or she'll let it swallow me down. Oh, when it flows, the sky starts falling. Oh, no.
Welcome back. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day to everybody out there. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're enjoying the beginnings of hockey season, which I am. Postseason baseball, big win by the Red Sox over the weekend. The Dodgers and Giants are going to a Game 5. Pretty much expected with the two best teams in baseball. So interesting to see how that shapes up tomorrow night. But yeah, and got some good college football matchups coming up this weekend. So excited. But we're here to talk rock and roll for you. I'm Jay Scott. This is The Hook Rocks, the ultimate rock community podcast, part of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a great family of music-related podcasts. Check out all the podcasts on pantheonpodcast.com and follow them at Pantheon Pods. Follow us, The Hook Rocks, at The Hook Rocks on Twitter and on Facebook. The Hook Rocks. Follow us wherever you do podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, wherever. Don't forget to set your device to automatic download, so when the new, latest, and greatest Hook Rocks episode like this one comes out, boom, you get it right to your phone. And you get to check out all the old and interesting episodes that we've done in the past. Some really cool episodes over the past few weeks. We've got our top album reviews from July, August, September with our friend Chris Corradetti. We've got the New Music Spotlight with Classless Act, the Warning New Music Spotlight here at the end of September, plus the album review for Mayday, the new EP by them. Don't forget to check out the latest interview with Doug Pinnick from King's X, as well as our tribute episode to Eddie Van Halen on the 1-year anniversary of his passing. Check out all those episodes and more, and let's get right to the new music spotlight. My next guest has an album coming out October 22nd, Friday, October 22nd. More great music in 2021. This album certainly is no exception. It is a fantastic album, and they're from north of the border, up in the neighboring state, the land of cheese, brats, and beer, better known as Wisconsin. I'm from Chicago, so we always like to needle our Wisconsin neighbors from being up north. And like to welcome in Lacey and Jason Clarke of Bourbon House. How are you guys doing, ma'am?
We're good. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Better that you guys are on. I am excited about the new album. We're going to get all into it. It's absolutely fantastic. And this is your second visit, so it's a little bit of a celebration too as well.
Yeah, thanks for having us on again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk the new music, because I know this is something you guys have been working on for a while, and I know that it has been slow moving, obviously, because of the pandemic and things happening, but it's finally here. It's finally upon us, and it's ready to go. The album is called Into the Red, and as far as recording this album, as far as writing this album, I know there's some songs that were previously released on it, but what went into the process? What went into this journey for this album?
This album was like a crazy journey. Like you said, it's kind of a long time coming. We wanted to release this like last year, really. The journey took us to 3 different studios. We're just kind of all over the place for this one. But I guess, like, what were we trying to accomplish with this one?
Yeah, I mean, where was the inspiration? I mean, some of these songs have, been around for a bit. Some of the stuff is new. Some of the stuff is new to me, at least. Absolutely fantastic. So, recording an album during a pandemic, writing an album during a pandemic is difficult for a lot of people because, there's not a lot going on. And, to remain creative, you've got to be living your life. So what was that like for you guys?
Sure. I felt like it was easier probably for us to write all of these songs. And we have more written, and we've already recorded 5 more for our next album because we had so much time, and we don't really need to be having the experiences we're writing about, as we're writing about them. Does that make sense? Like, you can just tap into it,
Yeah. How do you remain connected to stuff that you're writing and it takes a while for you to put it on an album, but you got to remain connected to it, right? You got to remain, you got to keep believing in that song, in that music. How do you remain connected to material that you guys have written?
Yeah.
Well, we play the songs live. We keep them fresh that way. I guess if we don't really like a song, it doesn't get to ever be released. We did, when we went to the studio to record the first batch of songs for this album, we actually ended up throwing away 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The only one we kept was Devil on My Heels, because we felt that was good enough to release as a single, and we figured it would eventually wind up on the next album. At that time, we weren't really thinking about when the album would come out, or,
Mm-hmm.
we just figured every so often we'll go record a few songs, and they need to be good, because one of them's got to be the next single. So that's kind of how this album occurred. We never really thought about having an album, although we knew it was going to happen eventually, but it wasn't really planned that way. You know what I mean?
I guess the songs, to stay connected to them, like the songs, they kind of choose us. You know what I mean? To like, if they're going to stick around or not, it's a matter of how good they are to us and how they speak to us. You know.
You guys have been playing live a lot this year, and you guys have always had that reputation as playing a lot, you know, especially up in Wisconsin and local to the Midwest. When you're putting out a song, or when you're writing a song, creating a song, and you are playing live, does it matter to you, or how much does it matter how the song goes over, how the song feels when you're performing it?
It matters a lot to me. There's certain songs that we have recorded, you know, that are on some previous albums that we don't do live, and we have done them, you know, a couple of times, and they don't feel right. Like the energy is not there live for some reason, so we don't do them live. So yeah, it matters a lot to me.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, as our catalog gets bigger, you know, we have 30 songs or more now. So we don't need to play them all. So when we go play a show, a lot of times we only need to play 10 to 15 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just choose the ones that rock the most, the ones that are the most fun, the ones that people want to hear. There are going to be songs that just never really get played out anymore.
Yeah.
Has there ever been an experience where, you know, any of the songs on the new album where you are playing them live and they become something different, or they evolve into something different? Maybe a better arrangement, a better song, because, you know, just like people physically work out, right, to get stronger, to get better, you know, there's something to be said about working out a song. And sometimes that song takes on a life of its own after you play it, after, you know, it becomes, you know, you go in a different direction with it, or you're working out the song to make it evolve into something else.
Sure. I feel like we do that more in the studio, where we change a song. We'll go there and, you know, think we have like a pretty good skeleton of it anyway. And a lot of times it changes so much in the studio. What we do live, I feel like doesn't really have much of a bearing on how it gets recorded, because it's a live version. I kind of want our live show to be, you know, an experience and a little different than what you hear on the recording. So, you know, things that happen when we're practicing or doing them live is just like an extra live bonus. That's how I take it. If it ends up being better, you know, than the recording, I think that's cool too.
Yeah, most of the time we record the song before we start playing it live.
Yeah.
You know, some bands I know do the opposite. Some bands play a song live a long time before it gets recorded. We schedule our recording time far in advance, and then we don't write songs until about a week before we have to report to the studio.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we're like, all right, we got to write, you know, 3 songs or 5 songs or whatever it is. And we knock them out and we focus on it exclusively for a couple weeks. And then in the studio, it really gets focused on intensely. We make sure the arrangement and everything is right. When we do it live, yeah, sometimes the arrangement is a little different live.
Yeah, this is how we operate, Jay. We're just kind of like fast and crazy, fly by the seat of your pants kind of situation. Like wait till last minute and then do it and try to do it awesome.
I've never heard that in all the interviews that I've done. I've never heard the, oh shit, we got to be in the studio in 2 weeks. We got to start coming together here.
Yeah. That's because we're usually focused on, it's hard to focus on so many things at once. And we always have like something that we're doing, whether it's like a music video or, you know, right now we're doing like album release stuff and artwork and merch stuff, and things like that. There's always like something to focus on. So then when the time comes that we have to go into the studio, we're like, all right, let's do this now, because it takes a lot of focus to write songs. You need to have everything else like kind of clear.
Yeah, we even started talking about the next music video today, which will be the 8th video or something like that. So there's always a million things to think about. And a lot of times things don't really get focused on to the last minute. I mean, but when we start focusing on it,
it has to be the main focus.
The only thing we're focused on, we make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd still be working on the second album. The second album wouldn't even be up. We're actually halfway through the 4th album, because we schedule, we set goals, we schedule things and pay for things way before it's even in existence.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of where the band is on the eve of the release of this album, and obviously there's a little bit of a skew in terms of what's been happening because of COVID, because everything was relatively shut down and limited restrictions and all that good stuff. But as far as the band goes, when you think back in the last year or 2 years, what has been the biggest leap for you guys in terms of creativity?
Well, I think we've become better songwriters. I think we've gotten better at, every aspect of it has improved.
As far as creativity goes, I think we're just like, the more songs you write, the more creative we want to be, because we want to keep doing different things. So there's especially on this new album that we're recording right now, like there's so many songs on it already out of the 5 songs that we're like, those are very different. They're definitely all Bourbon House songs, and you can hear us in there, and it's always the blues rocky kind of retro-y kind of thing, but we just want to push ourselves to keep doing something different. And I think you have to, the more songs you write.
As far as, selecting the songs and putting this album together, when was this album completed?
Officially completed. When did we?
Probably in December of last year, actually. As far as
might have been, yeah.
When we got, all of the songs recorded and mastered. Well, no, because we did remastering, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was December. Yeah. So
yeah,
I guess it's been
it would have been
months.
The end of, yeah.
It's been ready for 10 months.
Exactly. We wanted to release it a long time ago, but just a lot of things happened, and we we met some people, some industry people, and we've built up a team since then. And this has all happened since we finished the recording. We've met all these people, so it's had to be pushed back.
Well, what is that? What does that mean when you I know you guys did a tour of the southern states earlier this year. Was it, it's so hard to gauge time. Was it earlier this year or was it last year?
It was in March.
Okay. Because it's so hard. It's so hard to gauge time because of the pandemic, because there's no timestamps of like when, you had birthday parties or vacations when you can kind of stamp time throughout the year. So when I'm talking to somebody often, I'm like, was that 2021 or 2020? I can't.
That's, I know. It's crazy. Yep.
So you did tour the southern states in the springtime, and you've had a lot of momentum going into this album. When you talk about, industry people or people taking notice, of the band, of the music of Bourbon House, is that in fact what you mean, that you're getting a lot more exposure, you're getting a lot more interest from either management companies, PR companies, and whatnot?
Yeah, all of that. But we got our manager after the tour. And that tour as well, we had just signed on with our booking agent, Blind Anxiety Entertainment, right before the pandemic hit. And then we didn't, he couldn't book us anything. So yeah, that tour we worked with him on. Then we got a manager. Then we got, a radio guy. And then we got we have like a marketer, distributor, and now we're signed to Pack Groove Records. And it's just all like kind of like this crazy snowball that we've been navigating. And yeah, so the album had to be pushed back, but during all of that too, we were still doing things. We still made a music video that we're going to be releasing soon, and it's just been crazy pants. That's all I can say.
How has that changed things for you in terms of the release of this album? Is it better distribution? Is there going to be more awareness for you guys?
Yeah. Ideally, yes, there should be. We are distributing with, so our distributor marketer is Von Artists, and they distribute through The Orchard, which is Sony. So that's already a better distributor than we've ever distributed with, for sure, when we did it ourselves. So yeah, we should have a lot of support behind this album, when before we had none except for like our own backing, and then people like you, and some radio people and whatever backing us there too. But it was very DIY, very independent, and now we have some people. So
yeah, we're building a team.
Yeah,
we got the beginnings of a pretty good team right now. So
yeah.
Is it hard for you guys that, doing everything DIY and now having people help you and have that team? Obviously, that's a positive. Everybody knows that's a positive. But in terms of you guys being connected with the band and, being, the founders of this band, is it hard letting go on some things, or is it hard to trust people that they're going to do the right things? How is that in terms of dealing with that separation? Because ultimately your focus then becomes making music and performing, whereas, gone are the responsibilities of booking places to play or getting your name out there. It's pretty much handled by other people.
But yeah, well, you would think so, but it's not. We still do a lot. We do probably almost just as much as we did before,
at least as much as we were before, and we don't have to book the tour.
We have a lot of control,
but we still
over what we do.
Decide what's going on with it. We write the songs, we decide what the album's called, we decide what order the songs are in,
the artwork,
what the videos are about, who the videographer is. We still produce the music ourselves. So we're still in control of 99
like
things.
The flyers that are being sent from our agents and stuff are like, they're made by me. We approve the riders. We do a lot still, and we have so much control. And record labels now are not. They're definitely how they used to be, or at least like independent ones, because we're with an independent one. It's a smaller label. The amount of control they have over your music is very different than it used to be, and the artist retains like basically all of the control and can do whatever they want. So it's nice.
As far as the album goes, listening to this after you guys sent it to me, I couldn't help but fall in love with the song "Slow Burn." It is one of the last tracks. It's got a Chris Isaak Wicked Game type of vibe to it. It's a really, in my opinion, and again, it probably doesn't mean much, but in my opinion, it's the best song I've ever heard you guys do.
Wow, I like that.
It's the song that we never play live.
Really?
We used to do that one live. It's just that we only do right now, because our sets are so short, we only want to put one slow song in. But before that, we were doing slow burn.
Yeah. Well, slow burn, it's funny you should mention that because I think Chris Isaac's Wicked Game and the song John the Revelator were really the inspiration.
They were.
We wanted to have a song.
So I'm happy that we
like that.
succeeded.
Yeah, I think it came together. That was one of the songs that we re-recorded. We recorded it once at one studio, and then we said, "Oh, let's try recording it again and see if we can get a little bit different vibe." And I think it came together pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm happy you like that song.
Yeah, it's a great song because the whole album has a very bluesy type, very kind of roomy type of vibe to it. And I was listening to it and I heard Slow Burn. I'm like, man, this song reminds me of something. And I'm like, it's like a Chris Isaac type of vibe to it, kind of like Wicked Game-ish. And I'm like, this is a really good song, like really good.
Awesome.
I'm going to request that when I come see you guys on the 15th. As far as, what's next with this album and, with the album coming out, is there plans to tour? Now that things are getting back to normal, now that things are settling down, what is the next step for you guys once this album's released?
Mm-hmm. Well, right now we are working on tour dates again in March. It'll be a headlining tour. Probably going back down south again for that little loop. So that's kind of the first tour we are working on immediately. We have, we've been submitted to all of the festivals for the summer. So hopefully we get some of those as well. We plan to play a lot. And hopefully we get, some kind of fun supporting slot tour going on next year as well is what we're working on.
We spoke earlier this year, as you guys were, still planning, I think you guys were planning the tour when we last spoke, Lacey. And, what we've seen over the last several months in 2021 is just an extraordinary amount of music, an extraordinary amount of rock music that has come out. And it's all very good. And, the conversation that we have here a lot, or we used to have, was, where's rock music going in terms of relevancy, in terms of popularity? I think we are at the beginning of a resurgence. Some people claim that the resurgence is already happening. I'm still hesitant to make that claim, not because I don't believe the music is good. I think the music that's coming out is like I said, extraordinary. But there's still a need to connect with younger people. And that's really where the game is at. What do you guys do in terms of trying to find that connection to a younger audience that will grow with you as you guys continue to grow?
Mm-hmm. I think what a younger audience needs is something different than what they're hearing as, quotation marks, rock music. Because they've been hearing the same thing for the past, I don't even know how many years. I think just like continuing to do different rock music. Does that make sense? Like, just try to push the envelope. I don't know. We're on TikTok. Hopefully that works. We are meeting a lot of younger people who are into what we're doing. So that's great. They do hang out on TikTok and on some of them on Instagram, some of them on Twitter. They are not on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is more of an older crowd.
And that's your dad rock. That's where they're like, this, rock is for old people. That's what those youngins are thinking. But that's like, I think they're thinking like, AC/DC, like my dad's so into that, or my dad's so into like Metallica or whatever. And I'm definitely not hating on either of those bands. I love both of them, but it's just they're hearing something that they're like they want to hear something else. I think for rock music.
I think they look more for the experience, right? I think, you know, when you look at festivals and you look at like Coachella or, you know, Austin City Limits and all
that's
those
all young people.
Yeah, and it's full of younger people, and it's an experience, right? You look at all the tents that they have and the vendors and all these things you can do while you're there. They really do like that experience. You know, and it's really hard to gauge of what can create that experience for a band and how do you draw people's attentions because, you know, it's different because kids are pulled in so many different directions these days, you know, with social media apps and all that. And the big question is does something like an Instagram or a TikTok or Snapchat or whatever, does that lead to album sales? Does that lead to downloads and streams? And I still think that question isn't answered yet. I still think that there isn't enough data in front of people to say, yes, if you do X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C, this will happen. And I still think it's, you know, I do think more young people are listening to rock music. I do, because I have a 16-year-old that does. And, you know, he brought up a very poignant fact or a poignant opinion a few months ago where he said, you know, a lot of people found themselves during the pandemic. A lot of people went in listening to, you know, rap and pop music and came out listening to rock and roll. And I attribute that to the angst that's been created by a kid sitting at home, not, you know, going to school, not being allowed to hang out with his friends and getting upset and getting aggravated and annoyed and needing that release. And rock and roll always thrives whenever there's angst and anger in young America.
Sure. Yeah. I also think that, like you said, like people like trying to find themselves and like spending so much time alone and not spending time with their friends and listening to what their friends are listening to or listening to what's popular or whatever. They're discovering other things. If I think back to when I was younger, and I listened to, you know, whatever was popular, all the pop music. You know, I was like very into Backstreet Boys and stuff and Britney Spears and what I was totally into all of that stuff. I wasn't listening to rock and roll. You know, you get to a point where then you start, you know, listening to music for yourself and discovering what you actually like. And maybe the pandemic and being locked down kind of forced kids to do it earlier, which I think is great.
When you guys look at this album that's coming out, where have you guys evolved the most in terms of your music up until this point with this new album?
It's a good question. I mean, I think we're on a journey, and I think most bands are. I guess we're at the point where we know what our sound is. If you were to listen to the first album, kind of an EP, it had 7 songs on it, and it was very eclectic. It had a little bit of everything on it. You know, 2 or 3 hard rockers, and there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But on the second album, Wild Abandon, had a little more direction, but still didn't have like the. I think that we've really found our sound. I think that's what it comes down to. Our signature sound is kind of set in stone now, and we like maybe half the album to be that sound, and then have the other half maybe experimental things or things that we just want to do.
Yeah,
that we haven't done before. A song like Slow Burn is a song like that. I wanted to have a song that was just really moody and sad, just really pulled at your emotions, and it's not blues rock. Doesn't sound like Zeppelin, you know. So that was just one of those little diversions that we, you know, and every album should have a couple of those, in my opinion. And then half of it should be, you know, should sound like your signature sound. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we just like kind of honed in on who we are as songwriters in the past. Honestly, in the past year, it's been a pretty big change for us. So, yeah.
What about the album in terms of, what are you most proud of with this album, with these songs?
I'm just proud that they actually all came together and fit together on an album. If that's, I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but being with 3 different engineers in 3 different cities, 3 different bassists, 3 different studios, with like large gaps of time in between recording and working on these songs. I'm just like, I think that I'm impressed with us for being able to make them sound like us, all of them sound like us, and like on one album together. it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, and our engineer Eric was really, you get credit for making all these songs sound like they kind of go together.
Yeah, we had him remaster them. Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah.
It's interesting with you guys because like I mentioned in the beginning, some of these songs have been out there already, and it sounds like you're pulling from different sessions of music to complete the album, to complete all the tracks on the album. When you're doing that, and you're looking for the best possible vibe of a record, right? Every album has that energy, has that vibe.
Uh-huh.
What are you looking for in the songs in terms of sequencing, in terms of the energy that each song needs with multiple different sessions? Because that can be a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that comes in because we write songs that have different vibes and different tempos, and some of them are slow, some of them are fast, some of them are moody, some are groovy. Because we have so many of those dynamics, it's easy for us to do like kind of a flow, on the album. So you can be like rocking out one minute, and then you don't want to be like super sad the next time. Yeah. For the next song, maybe you want to do like this cool groove in between. Maybe you'll do like a Keep Your Head or Too High to Care or something, and then go to something sad, and then you can start to bring it back up, like a wave. I think that's the perfect listening experience.
Yeah, there needs to be a rhythm.
Yeah.
From the first song to the last song
Mm-hmm.
on the album. That's something that we try to stay conscious of as we're putting the pieces together and recording the songs one by one.
Came out balls out. You have to be like, bam, here's your first song. That's why we put Dead in the Water first, because it's a heavy hitter. And then the most experimental song is at the end.
Was that the biggest challenge for you guys as a band, to try to figure out that energy and that vibe that was continuous in the songs that you selected?
No, because we just write songs that we want to write without thinking about the vibe of the album. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like we want to write songs that are, our only goal really is to write something that's good, that sounds like us, that's, kind of sticks to our sound, and that can be something that's, timeless and could be a single on its own. Like that's the goal for every song. So I guess, we don't really, when we're thinking of doing an album, we don't really think about like, what kind of album is this? It's just a Bourbon House album to us. You
mentioned you had 3 different bassists play on the album. Have you guys solidified your lineup? Is there a permanent now bass player?
We think so. So far,
yeah.
We don't always think so, but a couple of times we have thought so, and then it was just we work really hard, and so I don't blame any of these guys, but yes, our latest, who we just recorded with, John Peck. He's so far he seems all in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I have faith in them. Yeah.
It's been great.
Is that something that you didn't foresee? Is having to have a stable commitment from other members in the band? Has that been something that you didn't expect to happen?
I didn't expect it to be this hard. I know that it's a thing. It's not just us. This happens to a lot of people, and this happens to bands that have a lot more than we do as well. So a lot more to offer.
Yeah, I expected it. It's just part of being in a band.
I didn't expect this many to come in and out.
I was hoping it would be this many.
Yeah, I don't know. There's kind of it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work to ask of people, so they have to want it 100%, or else they're not gonna be down to do all this work, unless it's something they want to do. I don't do things I don't want to do and put my all into it,
Yeah, I think that is a common thread through, for a lot of bands that are emerging is, having all four on the same page, all four sharing equally the commitment that it takes. And, sometimes, especially, well, it is difficult. I'm sure it was difficult during a pandemic when, you do have to pay bills and you do have to, survive. And some people, had to make a choice. And, unfortunately or fortunately for them, they chose something that, was able to, give them sustainability or what they believe is, some consistency. And unfortunately, that is a reality.
Right. Yep.
As far as this album goes, when you're thinking of with the release date coming up on the 22nd, what are your expectations for this album, for the band, once it's released?
We're going to push it pretty hard. My expectation is that it will garner some interest for us. I do think we will pick up some new fans. I know that our fans are going to love it already. I expect it to be a stepping stone, I guess, like everything that we do is just a stepping stone that's building us up higher and higher. We have a music video coming out shortly after it, which will hopefully will help with the sales of that as well. And just continue to push forward. It's going to be something that helps us push forward.
As far as the video goes, what's the next single coming out?
Well, the music video is for one of the songs on this album. I wasn't going to say what it is.
It's up to you guys.
It's for I Got Trouble. And then a single likely from our upcoming album, our next album, would be in January. That's the plan.
So you're talking already next album?
Yes, sir.
You guys are like a band in the mid 70s now.
Right? We're gonna we have a music video coming out, like I said. We're planning on doing another music video for another song on Into the Red. And then we'll have another single coming out that's not on the album.
Is that because you guys really want to tour on the music and, crisscross the country, play for anyone you can, and just kind of build your audience? I mean, that essentially is what bands have to do is, continue to tour and continue to get in front of people. And the only way to do that is if you keep pumping out music. Is that the idea?
Yes, we got to keep pumping out music. You got to keep playing in front of people, and just you got to keep going. You can't leave, not where we are right now. We can't leave huge spaces of time, between releasing things and touring and stuff. because we're not AC/DC. You know, you can't just do that and then come back and everybody will still be there. You know, there's new music being released constantly. There's a lot of good music being released. You know, it's not necessarily like it's like competition or anything, but it's they'll move on to something else. They'll find other things, you know. So
the industry changed a lot, and it's not really like it was in the 70s where you can just play as many shows as possible and eventually you'll get what you want.
Right.
Now I've seen so many bands just playing 200 shows a year, and after 5 years they're still playing in front of
because they're not releasing
10 people,
music.
So they quit. So touring doesn't really build a following like it used to because people don't go see live music like they used to. It's really about releasing something on a regular basis. Like once a month, you should have a single coming out or a video coming out or an album coming out, something like that. And then on a daily basis, you need to be hitting all of your socials. So, I mean, that's the name of the game now, but it wasn't like that, obviously, in the 70s and 80s.
I mean, most of our fans, you brought this up kind of earlier, like you're not sure how much like social media comes into play into like converting fans into like paying fans. Most probably 90% of ours are through social media.
Yeah, way over 90% of the people who become your fans found you on social media. So that's really,
found us anyway. That's how it's working for us anyway.
Well, I think that's how it is for most fans, especially when they start out. If you're on the radio all the time, then it's less important.
But I do think that touring is definitely another way to pick up fans as well, and you definitely should be doing it. And we plan to do all of those things.
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge because you are a band, you are creative, you're musicians, and your focus point is to make music, to write music, to record music. And now you have to do all those things. And of course, you've got to be a social media manager. You've got to know where to hit and find new fans and how to keep your existing fans interested. It is a huge, it's almost like a huge company, right? I mean, you've got different.
It is. It's a business.
Yeah. And it's like different divisions, and you have to decide who's going to do what. Who's better at what? Not just you for a lot of bands, you're not just a guitar player, the guitar player and the social media manager. You're the singer and you're, the person that handles dealing with the management companies and, the booking agencies. You're the drummer and you're dealing with the merch. Because it's all, you really have to not just be a musician, you really have to have a business sense to you as well, or be a quick learner to do it, because it's really how things are right now. And it's, I think a lot of fans, especially the older fans, I don't think they understand that because they're used to things like you said with AC/DC, where they can put out an album every 6 years, or Iron Maiden, where they release an album every 6 years and it goes bonkers and everybody buys it and everybody rushes to go see them because they have the name recognition, they've got the brand. For a new band, it's quite difficult. And, when you hear people, especially the old farts and the old fogies, resist, new music, it's to me, when someone says, oh, they're not, Zeppelin was great or Van Halen was great. And I agree with that 100%. Those were great bands. But there's a lot of great new bands too, as well. It's almost like rooting for a sports team. When a player retires, right? When your favorite player retires, you don't stop being a fan of that team.
Right.
You watch the rookie, you watch the younger players coming up. You continue to be a fan. It's the same thing with rock music. Just because those old bands are no longer playing or close to no longer playing, it doesn't mean you have to stop being a fan of rock music.
Right.
Good analogy.
Oh, thank you. So in closing here, as you prepare, I'm really excited about the 15th. Gosh, I mean, it's been it's been, I think I saw you guys at Route 20 in Racine back in.
That's right. You did see us. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. In 2018 or 2019. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
January.
No way. I honestly, I think that was January 2020.
Okay.
Or February, maybe.
No, because it was like a I think it was like the weather was nice because you were able to sit outside.
We were sitting outside. Was it just really nice?
Yeah, and it was like a benefit show or something like that.
Yeah. I honestly think it was still only February though, even though it was nice out.
No. There's no such thing as nice weather in February.
It's the truth. I'm telling you. Wait.
February 4th.
You know what? It was winter. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's too hard to think of dates though. So.
It is. Well, it's been a blast. Thank you guys very much for coming back on the show and doing this once again. I'm very excited about the album. I'm very excited about seeing you guys again on the 15th in Joliet. I hope you guys do come to Chicago more, the Chicago area more. We're not that far. There's some great venues around in the suburbs that are perfect for you guys. So hopefully you do explore that. But yes, the new album is absolutely fantastic. Into the Red. Go out and buy it. Out the 22nd of October. And thanks to Jason and Lacey for being on The Hook Rocks.
Yes, thank you for having us again, Jay.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. Like I said, that's Jason and Lacey from Bourbon House. I'm Jay Scott. This is The Hook Rocks. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll chat soon. Thanks.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey, Mama. Thanks for making all my favorite recipes.
Hi, Ma. Thanks for your unfiltered advice.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for always being by the phone.
Hey, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
When you ship UPS Air at the UPS Store, your items arrive on time or your money back. Guaranteed at no extra cost. Exclusively at the UPS Store U.S. retail locations. Visit the upsstore.com/airshipping for full details. Terms and conditions apply. Send your Mother's Day gifts at the UPS Store and we'll get your gratitude there on time.
Spring is the season everyone refreshes everything except their blinds. People put it off because they think it's complicated. But at Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years proving it's not. Right now, you can save big during the Spring Cyber Monday sale. Whether you want to DIY it or have a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we've got you. Free samples, real design experts, and zero pressure. Just help when you need it. Shop up to 50% off site-wide. Huge savings on special buys, plus a free professional measure now during the Spring Cyber Monday sale. Rules and restrictions apply.